Hello guys, I am Pranav Shinde. I am from MIT Academy of Engineering, Pune. I am presenting this lecture on the behalf of my college on metal casting. This is the series organized by IUCE. So, moving forward, let's learn about metal casting. So, first we have to know what is metal casting. Metal casting is a process in which hot liquid metal is poured into a mold that contains a hollow cutout or cavity of the desired finished shape. The liquid metal is then left to solidify, which is removed from the mold, revealing the end product or the casting form. This casting must go through rigorous quality check, often times involving a video boroscope to check for FOD. FOD is foreign object damage, residue or other imperfection. Critical passageways are often inspected by video boroscopes to ensure a high quality end product. So we have to learn the casting process in most fundamental manner. So we have to first understand the metal or raw metal which is come from the mine is melt to very high temperature, say about 1400 degrees Celsius, to get the liquid form, and then it is poured into the sand cavity which is made by pattern. All this terminology we have to learn in upcoming slide. So like way the liquid metal is poured into sand mold and the desired object or the end product we get from that when this liquid metal gets solidified. So moving ahead, so why metal casting is necessary? So in first image we see the pump casing, second is a turbine impeller, fourth is a engine block, and last one is a household cast iron pan. So here there is one question arise: do you think that all things can be possible by machining process? So here we have to think that while manufacturing all this product, machining seems very costlier, because here we can see the engine block. The intricacy involved in manufacturing this engine block is too much high. So we can say the machining process is not suitable while producing this type of component. Or we can take the example of pump casing also. The contours are involved in this design, so here also we can't go for machining, because cost is the main factor or dominating factor while deciding the manufacturing process for manufacturing the given component. So casting is a savior in this uh, process. Casting plays very vital role, because once we cast the product, the machining is a secondary step performed on it, so that we can get accurate dimension. So in this way the casting process comes into the picture. Moving ahead, historical background of classical casting process in India. So casting process is not newer or recent one. Casting process has been carried out since from our ancestors. So let us look at the historical background of casting process. If you consider copper age 7700 to 3300, using a clay as a mold and beeswax for pattern, man designed household good, weapon, and house and religious times. The earliest living proof of copper was the weapon found in Uzi, the oldest naturally preserved mummy from 33,000 BC before Christ. The Bronze Age 3300 to 1200. Eventually, man learned that tin could be mixed with copper to produce a stronger, durable and attractive metal which was called bronze. So likewise, if you consider various ages, the development in casting process has been done, and today we are come up with various n number of casting processes. Somewhere we can see the automation also, and it get more often sophisticated. Moving forward, Iron Age, it's 1200 BC and onward. Iron Age brought the systematic production of metals. The advent of this age is every culture was coincidental in changes in agriculture practice, religious belief, and cultural beliefs. Industrial Age, 18th century onwards, also known as the Age of Technical Revolution. This age saw rapid increase in the demand of casted product. Mass production was made possible by the invention of new machines in this age. Generalized casting setup. So we have to learn the basic setup used for casting. So first part, here we can say this is called as scope part. It is the box called as scope. The yellow color portion denotes the sand. Then here there is a runner, or we can called as a sprue. It is conical portion at the beginning called as sprue, and in continuation there is a runner. In layman language we can say it as a simple pipe. Then here there is a sprue well. The function of sprue well I am going to discuss in upcoming few lines. From here we can see the liquid metal flows into the mold cavity. Core is also made up of sand. This is different type of sand. Most particularly it is dry sand. This core is used to make a cavity inside the casting. Then here there is a riser. The function of the riser we can understand by the principle of capacitor. On cycle the capacitor stores the energy, and off cycle it releases the energy. In similar lines, while pouring the liquid metal inside the casting, the liquid metal get rise up inside the riser, and while solidification, there are two types of shrinkages are observed. First one is solid shrinkage and second one is a liquid shrinkage. So riser is used to compensate the liquid shrinkage, while solidification liquid metal get shrink out. So riser provides the additional or complementary material from this storage. Then then next part is a drag. This bottom portion which is similar to the cope portion called as drag. Whole cavity is divided into these two partitions, cope and drag respectively. This is a bottom board which is used to hold this entire setup. Then clamping pin, these are the clamping pins which tightly held or align these boxes so that liquid metal can't get leak out of these boxes. Sometimes there is a match plate is also be there where at this intersecting line. So here the sprue well is used because if we don't provide the sprue well, then metal directly hit here, and the liquid metal is highly active, so that it get react with the foreign particles of the sand, and it get into this cavity, so that casting get defected, and the overall life of the cast end product also get hampered. So this sprue well is provided so that liquid gets continuous curve path so that it get don't get directly strike at the bottom. Sometimes here there is a core is up used, which is called as skim core, so that the liquid metal get filtered out and the foreign particle present in the liquid metal get removed from this skim core, and only liquid portion component of the liquefied metal goes into the cavity. Moving ahead, research and trends in metal casting industry. So the recently the investment die casting, it is also called as wax casting, is famous among the casting processes. As we know, the wax is reusable. We can melt the wax again, give it particular kind of form, so that it can get recycled, or we can say reusable product, so it get used into the casting. Also, one more property which is highlighted in the wax is that wax is basically used when there is a precision is involved. So here we can say, uh, first the wax pattern is used, then this pattern is applied to the wax sprue, as we discussed earlier, which is used to provide liquid metal. But here the process of casting is somewhat uh, different than the process which we had seen in earlier setup. So these main sprue get connected with gates to the wax pattern. Then here the entire assembly is poured into the refractory material. Refractory material is basically can sustain with higher temperatures. So the coating of refractory material is being done on this entire assembly. So here we can see cross-sectional view of this assembly, how the refractory material get deposited over the assembly out, or we can say on outline. Once it get solidified or evenly deposited on the assembly, it get heated up to some temperature, so that wax get removed from this entire assembly and hollow cavity is generated. Once completely wax get removed from this pattern, the liquid metal get poured into this pattern, or we can say mold. Then once this liquid metal gets solidified, we have to remove this refractory material coating, and at the last we get the final end product. Here we can say the end product, and the gates or main sprue get cut out, and this sprue and gates also reuse for when metal gets liquidified. So here we can say complete usage of the material or raw material is being done, which is also a good point. When we go to the machining process, in machining it is a metal removal process, so metal gets removed, so scrap waste gets, or the cost associated with scrap is been there. But here we are using complete raw material. Then moving forward to automation, generally casting industry is a very classical one. So automation in casting is going on, but it is difficult to automate the casting process. But there are some exceptions like investment die casting or some other types of casting that has been used uh, in mass production or batch production, so that, and also the quality as well as cost get balanced. So this is how entire casting is done. Here I am trying to discuss very I have tried to discuss very little about casting. There are various calculations are associated when we consider the casting. What should be the size of the cavity? There are allowances are there, draft allowance, then wear allowance for the pattern. So all this in-depth knowledge we will get when we read various types of books such as Hajra Chaudhary, Kalpak Jain. So this is just an introductory session. For more info, you can go through these links and research papers, and you can go through this very uh, well books or recommended books of P.N. Rao, Workshop Technology, and Hajra Chaudhary. Thank you for now. Meet you soon.